Okay, welcome everyone to our Healthy Together time. We are so excited to be here and to be with you. And Liz and I have, been planning for this for a while, and we're really excited and feel so privileged to be able to teach. You are all in the right place tonight. I love that you're on live, and if you can't join us live, I hope that you enjoy the playback and get what you need out of this meeting. But Optavia has been such a blessing in my life, and I know Liz will say the same, and I'm sure it has blessed your life as well. So I want you to think to yourself as we get started tonight, how has Optavia blessed your life? How has the program blessed your life? Maybe you're healthier, maybe you've lost some weight, maybe you're blessed financially, or maybe you just love the community. These community times that we have are just incredible. So we love to start these events with what we call a win for the week. And I would love for you guys, just for time's sake, to stick a win that you have this week in the chat thread. Okay, so if you guys can stick it in the chat thread, and then I would love for someone just to raise their hand, use the hand icon, and I'll take one of you guys off mute. We just don't have time for everyone to do that. So perfect, we got some coming in the chat. And I have Jenny. Let's have Jenny. I'm going to unmute you 1 second. Let's see. Is it working? I think you're unmuted. Nope, you're not. Hold on. I just want to make sure. I'm excited to hear what you have to share.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I would love to hear your win for the week, Jenny.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I've been doing Optavia for like 7 weeks now, and I had some coworkers starting to notice. They were saying like, wow, you're looking so good. And I shared that I've lost 20 pounds, and they were like really impressed, and they were asking me more about Optavia. And I told them like all the stuff that I've been doing, and they kept being like, well, what can you not eat? And it was really a moment of like reflection, realizing that what I really like about Optavia is that it's not focused on what you can't do. I hadn't really, like if I had just started 6 weeks ago thinking like, I'm not going to really eat dairy, I'm not eating sugar, no fruit, like, I don't think I could have done that just like based on just like saying all those things. But I didn't feel like these 7 weeks have even been anything about what I couldn't do, because it's so much options. Like there's so many different food options. There's so many like options for the lean and green that I just haven't really felt that restricted. And I think that's why I've been so successful. So it was just kind of an aha moment, like, wow, I really like that. I haven't even I could name so many things that I haven't been eating, but it's been more what I have been eating.
Yay, I just love that, Jenny. That is so powerful, that sometimes we get our mindset in this like restrictive mode, but you're looking at it from, you've already made that shift. You're like ahead of the game for what we're going to talk about tonight, but you are making that shift, that mindset shift of you're not, limiting yourself, but you're actually empowering yourself with what you can do. And I love that. Okay, so we all know these, but I just want to do a quick rundown and review of our 4 components that we have here in Optavia. As you're part of our program, you'll see the blessings of all 4. Each of us have a coach, so we don't ever have to go at this alone. We all have an amazing educational system as well. It's our Habits of Health transformational system. If you have not gotten into the life book yet, I just encourage you to do that. It is just incredible and just brings so much power and insight to our journey. And we have this incredible community. You're all on here right now. There's over 100 of us. It's so fun that are on live, and so many more. And that's a huge part of our system as well. And then we have, and let's not forget about our amazing, healthy and convenient fuelings, and just simple, easy nutrition. That is like the greatest gift that has been in my life for the past, almost 9 years that I've been a coach. I'm so grateful for that nutrition that we have. And I just think it's important we review those things, because sometimes we get sucked into one component or the other, and it's really important we remember that we have 4 amazing components. Liz and I are really excited to share on our topic tonight, and the topic that we selected is shift happens. Make sure you get that F in there, make sure we say shift, but shift happens. And we are in such a transitional time right now in the year. I mean, think about it. We went from summer, and if you have kids home, to full-blown like back to school, like change in routine. There's a major shift in our scheduling going on right now. And we want to make sure that we understand that if we want different results in our life, then we have to do things differently. We have to change something. We have to shift, and we have to even think differently. We have to act and think differently. A new mindset is going to give you those new results that you're looking for. So I want you all to think about your why, okay? Think about why you are on this call tonight. Why are you a client? Why are you a coach? If you're a coach that's on this call, why do you want to be healthy? Okay, your why is going to be a huge, huge factor to your success long-term. Okay, a strong why is going to equal a strong resolve to really want change in your life. Okay, my why, I have been a coach, like I said, for 9 years. And if you're online, you can see a picture of my family. I have 4 kids, a really goofy 6-year-old and a really quirky 4-year-old, but they are my why. I became a coach and honestly have stuck with this program as a client because I want to be the best version of myself that I can be for my kids. I want to be that active mom that doesn't have to slow down and take breaks. I want to be able to coach them and play with them and be healthy with them. We love to hike and we love to, I coach all of my kids in their sports. That's what I want. So my why will always be that. And it kind of, comes and goes a little bit as, circumstances change, but that is my overarching why. If your why is not strong enough, you guys, this is the very first shift that you have to make. Okay? And I want you to think about that. Your why should absolutely stir an excitement. You should have excitement within you so that you're motivated to get out of bed and get to work. You're motivated to get up and make healthy choices because that why is just pulling or pushing you, okay? Your why is how you can start to lead from the future, but act in the now. And that is powerful, I think. The next step is to figure out which habits or patterns in your life are actually serving you. So I want you guys to use the chat for this. If you're not comfortable sharing in the chat, if you're not on live, just grab a pen or a pencil and write down these questions. Number 1, what am I willing to start doing to take me closer to my why? Number 2, what am I willing to stop doing? What do I need to give up? Okay. And number 3, what do I need to keep doing? So what is happening in my life that I need to keep doing? And maybe stick some of those in the chat thread. I would love to see that chat thread just blowing up with what our whys are. Okay, and take just a second. If we think about, what we are willing to give up, then it's really, really important that we think about what the priorities are in our life. So for instance, maybe if my priority is that I want to get more sleep, I might need to give up something like Netflix, right? I might need to take that and make that little change in my life. What about fast food? Okay, maybe I need to give up the convenience of fast food and really focus on making homemade food that's going to be healthier for my body. Maybe I have toxic friends or relationships, okay? I want to make sure that maybe I'm leaning more into people who are uplifting or mentoring me. Maybe I'm watching too much TV, so I need to replace that habit with exercise. Can you see the patterns that we have here? And I love the idea, and I want you to kind of visualize this, that you are going to bury and suppress and have a funeral for your old habits. Isn't that powerful? To just think, wow, I do not need to let those habits control me anymore. I can totally just be done with them. I can be over it, and I can start making the priorities that will take me closer and help support my why, whatever that is. Okay, so I want you to think about that. Maybe put in the chat thread something that you're willing to give up, that is, giving up something that's good to get something that's better. Okay, it's not like if you think about things like Netflix and fast food and toxic friendships and things like that, they're not necessarily always bad, but is there a better choice that we can choose? Can we shift in our mind to make those things a little bit better so we can actually lead from the future? If you think about that, We're leading from the future. We're thinking about what we want, why we want it, but we're making decisions in the now to support those future goals. And I just think that is such an incredible and powerful and empowering thing.
Wow, I'm loving this chat thread, all these things that we're willing to give up, that we're going to start doing, that we're going to lead from the future, what we really want to create, and we want to act in the now. That is so powerful. So many great things. All right. So that lead from the future, act in the now, that is one of the things that we learn as Optavia leaders and coaches. We learn to do that, to really know our why. And that's one of our habits of transformational leadership. And the second habit that we learn is that we take responsibility and we play above the line. Now, what do you guys think that means? Take responsibility for our own health. Wow, like just think about that for a second. So often we look for someone else to blame, right? Maybe we quit when things get hard, when it gets uncomfortable, or we expect others to do things for us to be successful. But as Optavia coaches and clients, we learn that if it's going to be, it's up to me. Okay, I want everyone to say that really loud. If it's going to be, it's up to me. And it's so true. We have the power to create what we want in our life. We take that responsibility for our thoughts, for our emotions, our actions, and we are the ones in charge of our own outcome. Isn't that powerful? We get to start with our own health, those things that we have control over, what goes in our mouth. Often, you know, what time we go to bed, how much water we drink, we have those wins, and we start realizing that we can create exactly what we want. So you guys, I love this analogy of the road trip in regards to our health. I want to see like some in the chat, if you guys went on a road trip this past year. A lot of people were doing road trips instead of flying. So put in the chat where you went on your road trip as I tell about this analogy. So one thing that I love about road trips is you get a lot of time to think, right? And let's call this highway that we're on the highway of old habits. And think about the things that got us to where we started. When you started your health journey, why was it that, actually, I'm not done with that. Why was it that you got started on your health journey? What made you get started? Maybe you got to a point that you were feeling uncomfortable or maybe embarrassed about some things, like you weren't feeling confident in your clothes, or you're on medication and you weren't wanting to go out or be in pictures with your family. So what are some things that got you on this road of old habits? Maybe it was unhealthy sleeping. Maybe your friends were getting you to do things that were unhealthy. Maybe it was alcohol, watching too much TV, lack of exercise. What are those habits on this road that you were on before you decided to get started with your health journey? All right, so imagine that along this road somewhere, you decided that you wanted something different. You wanted to make a change. We all remember that point probably, right? When we decided we were ready for a change. Like I said, maybe you felt uncomfortable in your own skin and you dreamed of something more. So we took an exit. We maybe stopped for gas on this road trip, right? We got off this highway and we started working on our own self, our own goals. And maybe you're like 1 week into your health journey, maybe you're a month, or maybe you're years into this health journey. Maybe you took a long detour and you're feeling better, you're feeling more confident. So what's the next step? Are you going to get right back onto that old road that you were on, that old highway that was so familiar? Because often your brain wants to do that. It goes back to what was comfortable. Or are you going to take the road of the new habits? Have you decided what you're going to do once you hit your goal? Are you going to go back, or are you going to build a new road? Think about that. So let's talk about this new road. What would that mean to build a new road, to form new habits and create a new identity? Have you ever thought about that? Like the healthy version of me forever. What does that look like? So are you learning things right now that are going to help you build these new roads? So maybe those things would be how to process your emotions. We learn about that, right? How to be aware of our thoughts, how to deal with our emotions instead of buffering them with food or Netflix or other unhealthy things. Are you surrounding yourself with positive people? Maybe even inviting them to join you on this new road. It's always more fun to travel with friends, right? Who's in your car on this road trip? And I know that when we take responsibility for our own journey, the journey can be amazing. And so I love this part of thinking, am I going back to that old road or am I building a new road? Have you guys thought about this yet? Once you hit that goal weight, are you crossing a finish line? Or is that just the next step in your amazing journey? All right, so as clients and coaches, because as coaches, we're always clients, we're always working on our own health. We're not perfect either. And that's one thing I love. We learn together. So as coaches and clients, what can we do to take more responsibility for our own health journey? What are some things that you could do? One thing that I want to talk about is if you are coming up with a question, a decision, what if you asked yourself, what would healthy Liz do in this situation? That can often lead you to where you want to go. If you want to be healthy, just ask yourself, what would that healthy version of me do? What decision would they make? And that is powerful to really see yourself as that healthy version. And it really helps you to make those positive choices. And some other things that help you to take responsibility is make sure that you're reaching out to your coach weekly. Did you know that clients that work closely with their coach lose twice as much weight? Are you taking responsibility or are you just waiting for your coach to call you? But reach out. You have that power. Make this the Healthy Together time, this call every week, a rock in your schedule so that you're working on the mindset. Get into your life book. And then really thinking about shifting our mindset. Sometimes we get into that identity. We think that we're a certain way that we can't change. And so that's where the shift happens. It happens first in the mindset. And so shifting our mindset helps us shift our identity of who we are for the rest of our lives. When you think of that healthy person that you're creating, does that make you excited to think of? You can always have energy. You can always have excitement and confidence. So when we shift our mindset, it looks something like this. If you've always said, I can't do that, that won't work for me, I've tried things like that before. What if you change that around? What if you said, I'm going to work for that instead of waiting for it to work for you? Or what if you said, I'm a foodie, and you change that to, I love to nourish my body? What if you've always said, I hate to exercise, and instead you turn that around and you say, I love getting stronger? Or I love wine too much. Water makes me feel amazing. Or a big one I hear is, I always gain my weight back, right? You think that's your identity. But what if you just started telling yourself, I'm a healthy person for life, and making your health a priority? Instead of saying I'm too busy, I make my health a priority. Just like you make brushing your teeth in the morning a priority, even if you're busy, or you make getting dressed and not going to work in your pajamas a priority. If health is a priority, it will become part of your habits. And one thing that I love to think about is, as a busy mom, I felt like I was getting lost, like I didn't recognize myself. I wasn't doing the things that made me happy anymore that I used to do. And I thought I had to find myself. But then I realized I don't need to go look for my old self. I can create the person I want to be, a better version of me. And so what is the best version of you looking like? What are you creating? If you haven't done a vision board or thought about what that healthy version of you looks like, think about it, and you can create that. And one thing that I have found that helped me to create that identity as a healthy person, for sure, was when I became a health coach. It was almost 10 years ago. And I honestly thought I would never help anyone. It was just for myself. I wanted that accountability. I wanted that community. I wanted to keep learning. I didn't know if I could help anyone, but I wanted to make health part of my identity. I've got 6 kids. I wanted to be an active mom. I wanted to stay home with my kids. I wanted to build a community of health-minded people, of friends that we lifted each other up instead of pulling each other down. I wanted to learn to make myself a priority again and go hiking and do things that I love. And for sure, I wanted to keep that 45 pounds off that I had lost after having my baby. I wanted to never go back to those old habits that got me to where I was. I never wanted to go back to that old road, that old highway of bad habits. And so that's why I chose almost 10 years ago to take that scary step and become a health coach and pay it forward. And I think that has been something very empowering to me. I would say that's the number one thing that has helped me to stay on my path and create that identity of health. And so a lot of people wonder, like, what would that look like? What would that look like to be a health coach? Because a lot of you that are just starting your journey, maybe you think that could never be me. I thought that. I don't know enough. That could never be me. And so some of you came on this call to learn a little bit more about coaching. And so we're going to end the call with some basics of what it could look like to pay it forward to others. So stick around if you're curious about any of these topics. We're going to talk about the secret of success of raising your chances of keeping your weight off and hitting your goal by 500%. We're going to talk about how much money coaches made. If you're curious how much money your coach makes, stay on. We're going to talk about some other information on how to pay it forward. And whether you stay on or not, I have a challenge for you. I want you to think about what you are creating for the rest of your life. What is your new identity? And as you go throughout the week, ask yourself, what would healthy, put in your name, what would healthy Liz choose right now? And make that choice. That will make you one step closer to making that part of your identity and making that automatic. So thank you for staying on for this. And we're just going to talk a little bit about health coaching because it's something that we love. We love to share it because it's really has blessed my life so much, completely changed my life. And so a few of the benefits of coaching is